Let's go ahead now and talk to Ryan in Arizona. Ryan, you're on the air.
Hello, how you doing, Alex?
Good.
Good. I wanted to thank Lindsey Williams because some of the information that he had mentioned, a couple of years ago about the oil going up, I had talked to some of my friends and family members and, mentioned that I had heard that, and, they didn't believe it, of course, until it actually happened a couple of years ago, and then kind of opened their eyes and let them see that there are things behind the scenes that are going on that a lot of us have no idea about, and we don't get to see it on the news, and most of us don't have insider friends that can give us that kind of information. So I just wanted to thank Lindsey for kind of getting the word out about some stuff like that.
Thank you so much. And by the way, please believe all the other things that Alex is saying on his show day by day, because every bit of this dovetails together in understanding the total program of the elite. So
well, look, I want to be clear on this. Program. Well, I appreciate that, Ryan. We're going to talk to Malcolm and others here in a moment. But going back to Jim, and I think Jim's a nice guy. I'm not saying he's wrong or even bad. It's just that Lindsey, everything he wrote in his Energy Non-Crisis 20-something years ago has now come out in Congress and been proven accurate. Where he said the oil was at in massive amounts has come out to be accurate. I've known Lindsey, been interviewing Lindsey for 13 years. I remember interviewing him when I was on one radio station. Might have been 14 years ago. And
yeah,
Lindsey,
sure was, Alex.
Lindsey's told the truth, and yeah, he's mixing all the different interviews or talks he's done together, and he's talked about a lot of new stuff here, dealing with Israel and the rest of it, and he is talking to this guy, and Dr. Monteith's called the guy up and talked to him himself, and so, regardless, we know this stuff is coming true and happening, and we can see what Lindsey's talking about in the headlines of the news right now. And Bilderberg Group sources are confirming the same thing. Let's jam in another call here. Let's talk to Malcolm in Texas. Malcolm, you're on the air.
Hi, Alex. Hi, Lindsey. How y'all doing?
Good.
Hi, Al.
Hi. Just want to say, Lindsey, thank you for doing what you're doing. That takes a lot of guts. My question regards gold and silver seizures possible in the coming years, because it's possible that we're going to have new fiat currencies replace the dollar and maybe other currencies. I think Bob Chapman and Jim
We know
Rogers.
what happened in 33. Anything is possible with these crooks. Lindsey?
Yes, this gentleman did deal with this in a former conversation that we had about a month ago, and he said to me, Chaplain, the currency of the elite is gold and silver. He said, if
Stay there. We got a break. Got a break. Malcolm, Pastor Williams, stay there. We'll come back to both of you to flesh this out on the other side. Pastor Lindsey Williams is our guest. My websites are Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com for the latest, most important news. Check them out daily. They're updated about 20 times a piece every day. Stay with us. Going back to Lindsey Williams and Malcolm in Texas, what did he tell you about gold and possible confiscation or anything like that?
He has talked about gold at length, and one of the things he said was it's the currency of the elite, and he said, therefore, it's not going to be bothered. Now, you can take that at face value, I think, in the fact that there's not going to be any confiscation of gold and silver, because they aren't going to touch the one thing that they trust. And he made it very plain. He said, I'm going to quote his exact words. And Alex and our caller in, please understand that the only way that I can understand the elite is sometimes to go back to things that these people have said in the past. So you out in the listening audience, don't get upset just merely because I relate to something that this person said in the past. You've got to put all this together as one big jigsaw puzzle.
Sure.
Picture.
Absolutely.
And he said to me, he said, don't trust any financial instrument that is written on paper, whether it be a T-bill, a Federal Reserve note, a retirement account, a bond, even a bond issued by the Treasury.
The derivatives have diseased it all. Thank you, Malcolm. Carl in Texas, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, guys.
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank God. Lindsey, I want to thank you. I cannot thank you enough for what... say this before I ask my questions. I even wrote everything out. I believe that out of many documentaries that I've watched in the last year, and I'm talking many, that your newest 3-DVD set that you put out a few months ago is just flat out amazing. Anyone that has not yet viewed this DVD set is doing a disservice to themselves and their loved ones. This is a must-watch. And even I found a link that Lindsey or someone else had provided on a particular website that you can actually watch it online or even download a downgraded version of it because he just wants the information out there. Guys,
Carl, I hear you, and I appreciate your call. We're going to tell you about the books and DVDs that Lindsey's offering before he leaves us. But expanding on this, Daryl Rundis, almost 2 years ago, whenever you first came on about the $150 a barrel oil, he believed you. He went and bet on it in the markets and told me it was just a ton of money he made, so he wanted to thank you. Daryl Rundis wanted me to thank you for that. So he believed in you enough to bet on what you were doing. I don't know if this elitist you're talking to could ever be wrong or if the elite could change what they're doing, but I know you talk to him. I know this is what they believe is going on. Let's talk to Robert in Texas. Robert, you're on the air. Go ahead.
I'm not going to take up much of your time. I just wanted to let you know, Alex, that I got that Glenn Beck video up on the Funkmaster 5 channel. It's under Beck Betrayed if you want to search for it on YouTube. Beck
Yeah, I watched the video of you calling in. Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Robert. Taylor in Oregon, you're on the air with Lindsey Williams. Go ahead.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I want to express some concerns about Congress's ability to only say no for so long. Within this week's pretty critical information I've been seeing in the media, we got the $85 billion bipartisan draft bill now that, was stalled, 154 bill that was stalled back in December. And then with the whole body scanners stalling in the House of Representatives. And then now they want to
censor the Internet, and we can clearly see them gearing up for police state. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of wanted to get Lindsey's comments on that.
Yeah, clearly, worldwide, they're setting up a police state, knowing people are going to get angry as things implode. Lindsey.
Yeah, this gentleman has let me know in no uncertain terms all of the details that surround all of this. But for him to actually answer a question about the police state, he's never been willing to. But he's given me everything all the way around it. In fact, when he talked about the health care bill, he was talking about the chip that they can put into a hypodermic needle by way of the vaccination they're going to give you. And he said every bit of this is in the health care bill.
That is actually in there. They talk about implantable chips in the bill. Let's talk to Mike in North Carolina. Any questions for Lindsey Williams?
Hey, Alex. I just want to know about the buildup in Yemen, and I want to know if he's heard anything about these rumors of the Stargate down there or anything like that.
Yeah, I would imagine he hadn't heard anything about that, but I appreciate your call. He was saying earlier that the whole Yemen thing is a distraction. Really, to me, it's a civil war down there. And the U.S. and Saudi are in there trying to take control of the situation, also to control the port of Aden. And the U.S. and Israel are talking about taking over the oil-filled areas in southern Iran. Then they would control about a third of the oil on the planet. Lindsey?
Yes. Now, the Strait of Hormuz, as most of you recognize, one supertanker down in the Strait of Hormuz would cut off 40% of the world's oil. And you would see the price of gasoline at the gas pump go to $10 to $12 a gallon overnight. And our military be drastically hindered. So, Alex, I think you've covered it quite well.
Al in Texas, you're on the air with Lindsey Williams. Go ahead.
Yeah, how you doing, Mr. Williams? I had the pleasure of listening to you on Matrix News Network when I lived in Aurora, Illinois. I do live in Conroe, Texas now. And you had touched on the health care bill earlier, and it's interesting that the caller, a few callers behind me or in front of me had mentioned the RFID chip implanted by needle. I, in fact, was in Larry Gitt State Jail in Beaumont, Texas, and interestingly enough, you were forced to have vaccinations and have blood drawn, 3 vials.
By the way, we're getting reports everywhere of people in jail for unpaid tickets are having blood taken, being injected. They're taking blood from babies at birth illegally. I mean, this is insane.
Yes, sir. And it's very, very odd that now a stud finder picks up something in my left arm where they did pick up the blood, where they did take the blood. And interesting, Mr. Jones, I have just become a listener to your show in the past week. I placed an order through your store. And just in the past few minutes, in fact, and this is no lie, a military helicopter did fly above my house in Conroe, and there is the same white Suburban that has been driving by my house 5 times in the past 10 minutes.
Well, I appreciate your call, Al, but you wouldn't order it, and then they come fly a helicopter over. There's military helicopters flying around everywhere, and they do have systems that can look right through your walls. That's been in the news, but I mean, I think just completely giving into paranoia is not the way to go. I got a lot of folks home from work today. Let's go ahead and talk to Nick in Colorado. Nick, you're on the air.
Hey, I just had a question for you and Mr. Williams about the Iran war. Now, you predicted about 3 to 6 months, maybe something like that happening, but Lindsey Williams saying it wouldn't be until about a year.
Well, Lindsey's saying a year and a half, then maybe they may do it. Tarpley thinks it's on the front burner again. Israel's talking about it. It's clearly being debated right now. I don't think the establishment knows what they're going to do at this time yet. Lindsey?
Yes, a year and a half ago, you remember that we had our warships sitting over there in the Gulf, Persian Gulf. We had everything ready: Marines, Air Force, Army. Everybody was ready. I was even saying on radio talk shows, we're going to have a confrontation with Iran. This gentleman told me on the phone, you will not have a confrontation with Iran in the next 2 years. I came back on radio shows all over the country, said that. I was laughed at. It's gone by for a year and a half. We still haven't had one. The gentleman now is saying me that the elite have it planned a year and a half from now.